Right now, somewhere in your body, a quiet decision is being made. It is deciding whether you will stay strong as you age or slowly lose control over things you once took for granted: your balance, your energy, your ability to stand up from a chair without thinking about it. Most people never realize this decision is happening because it does not start with pain. It does not start with disease. It starts with weakness you cannot feel yet. And here is the unsettling truth. One of the most powerful signals your body listens to is something almost everyone ignores: a simple daily movement: 40 squats. Not a workout plan, not a gym membership, not a complicated routine, just 40 squats a day. When scientists began tracking what happens inside the body when this movement is done consistently, the results surprised even them. Muscles changed, yes, but that was only the surface. Much deeper systems began to respond. Systems tied to longevity, blood sugar stability, hormone balance, and even how the brain protects itself from decline. This is not about building big legs. This is about what happens when your largest muscles wake up every single day and send messages to the rest of your body that say, "We are still needed." Because the muscles used in a squat are not just muscles. They are metabolic engines. They are hormone regulators. They are survival tools your body evolved to rely on. When you stop using them, your body does not complain right away. It adapts, quietly. Your metabolism slows. Your insulin response weakens. Your joints stiffen. Your circulation becomes less efficient. You may feel fine for years, and then one day, you're not. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine giving your body a daily reminder that strength is still required, that balance still matters, that standing up, lifting, stabilizing, and controlling your own weight is still part of your life. That is what 40 squats a day begins to signal. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because when researchers looked closely, they noticed something strange. The benefits did not increase gradually. There was a threshold, a point where the body flipped a switch. Below it, the changes were modest. At or above it, internal systems began to shift more dramatically. Blood vessels became more responsive. Muscle cells absorbed glucose more efficiently. Inflammatory signals dropped. And for many people, that threshold hovered around a number that sounds almost too simple to matter: 40. Not all at once, not perfectly, just 40 controlled squats spread through a day. Yet this same movement done incorrectly or pushed too hard has also injured people: knees, lower backs, hips. So the question becomes dangerous in both directions. Do too little and your body continues its quiet decline. Do too much or do it wrong and you can create problems that last for years. That's why this matters. Because 40 squats a day can either become one of the smartest habits you ever build or a misunderstood trend that does more harm than good. And almost no one explains what's actually happening inside your body while you're doing them. What hormones are released, what tissues are stressed, what systems are repaired, or why the first changes don't show up in the mirror, but somewhere far more important: inside your blood, inside your cells, inside the way your body prepares itself for the future. Most people quit before those changes even begin, because the early days feel underwhelming. Your legs burn, your breathing changes, and you assume that's all there is. But beneath that surface discomfort, something much bigger is starting to shift. Something that affects how you age. Something that affects whether your body stays resilient or becomes fragile. And the moment when that shift truly begins is the part almost nobody talks about. Because it doesn't happen on day 1 or day 2, but right when your body realizes this is no longer temporary. Right when it decides whether to resist or adapt. And that moment is where everything changes. When your muscles send a signal that reaches far beyond your legs, traveling into systems you never thought a simple squat could influence, including the one that determines how efficiently your body stores energy, repairs damage, and protects itself from long-term breakdown. Because that signal does not stop at the muscles. It travels into your bloodstream, into your organs, and into the control centers that decide how your body uses fuel, stresses manage, and defends itself from slow internal damage. This is where the story deepens. When you perform a squat, especially using your own body weight, you're activating some of the largest muscle groups you have: the glutes, the quadriceps, the hamstrings. These muscles are not passive tissue. They behave more like endocrine organs. When they contract repeatedly, they release chemical messengers known as myokines. These myokines don't care what you look like. They care about survival. Once released, they travel through your blood and communicate with your liver, your pancreas, your fat tissue, even your brain. One of their first jobs is to improve how your body handles glucose. This is not theory, this is measurable. Each squat forces muscle cells to pull sugar out of the bloodstream without needing large amounts of insulin. Over time, this reduces the constant insulin spikes that quietly damage blood vessels and push the body towards insulin resistance. That matters more than most people realize. Insulin resistance doesn't announce itself. It builds silently for years, long before blood tests turn red. And one of the strongest natural ways to push back against it is repeated load-bearing movement, like squats. This is why people who build and maintain lower body strength often show better blood sugar control, even if they never lose a pound. The change happens at the cellular level first. But blood sugar is only the beginning. As you continue doing squats day after day, another system begins to respond: your cardiovascular system. Each controlled rise and descent forces blood to move against gravity. Your heart adjusts. Your blood vessels learn to expand and contract more efficiently. This improves circulation to areas that slowly lose it with age: the hips, the lower spine, the knees themselves. Ironically, when done correctly, squats do not damage the knees, they nourish them. They push synovial fluid through the joint, feeding cartilage that has no direct blood supply. Movement becomes nutrition. That's why complete rest often makes joint pain worse, not better. But here's the part that surprises most people. Squats also affect your hormones. In both men and women, consistent lower body resistance triggers temporary increases in anabolic hormones, like growth hormone. Not the exaggerated spikes promised by fitness ads, but enough to matter over time, enough to support tissue repair, bone density, and strength maintenance. Bone density is critical here. The act of lowering your body and standing back up sends mechanical stress through your skeleton. Bones respond to this stress by becoming denser and stronger. This is one of the few ways the body is signaled to maintain bone mass as you age. Without that signal, bone loss accelerates quietly. This is why fractures later in life are not sudden accidents, they're delayed consequences. Now layer in balance. Every squat challenges your nervous system to coordinate movement, stabilize joints, and control posture. Tiny stabilizing muscles in your ankles, knees, hips, and core are constantly adjusting. This trains proprioception, your body's awareness of itself in space. Better proprioception means fewer falls. Fewer falls mean fewer injuries that change lives permanently. And then there's the brain. As blood flow improves and inflammatory markers decrease, the brain benefits as well. Movement-induced myokines have been shown to support brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a compound involved in learning, memory, and resilience against cognitive decline. Again, not overnight, quietly, gradually. This is why people who move daily often report sharper thinking, better mood, and more emotional stability. The brain is not separate from the body. It responds to the signals it receives. But here's where the tension returns, because the body doesn't give these benefits away easily. In the first days and even weeks, squats feel uncomfortable. Muscles burn, breathing becomes labored, the nervous system protests. This is not a sign of harm, it's a sign of adaptation beginning. Yet many people misinterpret this phase. They assume pain equals damage. They assume soreness equals danger. They stop. Others push too hard, too fast. Poor form, no rest, no awareness. That creates real injury. The difference between progress and setback is not effort, it's understanding. Understanding how many squats, understanding how to space them, understanding how your body should feel versus warning signs you should respect. Because once your body crosses that adaptation threshold, the experience changes. Movements feel smoother. Strength appears where there was none. Daily tasks feel lighter. Stairs feel shorter. Rising from the floor no longer requires planning. And this is the moment when the habit either locks in or collapses. Because results are starting, but they're still fragile. And what you do next determines whether 40 squats a day.
For the years ahead, and this is where intention starts to matter more than effort. Because once your body accepts 40 squats as part of its daily reality, it begins asking a different question. Not, can I survive this, but how do I optimize this? That is when small choices start making a big difference. Spacing your squats throughout the day, for example, changes the signal entirely. 10 in the morning, 10 at midday, 10 in the afternoon, 10 in the evening. This keeps muscles active without exhausting them. Blood sugar stays more stable, joints stay lubricated, the nervous system stays engaged without stress. Your body responds better to repetition than punishment. Then there's depth. You do not need to drop as low as possible. You need control. A squat that stops just above discomfort, performed slowly, tells your joints they are safe. Your muscles stay active longer under tension. That increases the release of those protective myokines without irritating connective tissue. Speed comes later, if at all. Breathing matters too. Exhaling as you stand sends a calming signal through your nervous system. It reduces unnecessary tension in the neck and lower back. It keeps your blood pressure response controlled. Something as simple as breath can turn a risky movement into a restorative one. And food quietly amplifies everything. When muscles contract, they become hungry, not desperate, efficient. Protein consumed after movement is more likely to be used for repair instead of storage. Minerals like magnesium and potassium support muscle relaxation and nerve signaling. Water keeps joints cushioned and circulation smooth. This is not about supplements, it's about timing. Movement first, nourishment after. And recovery is not optional. Sleep is when the signal becomes permanent. Growth hormone release increases during deep sleep. Tissue repair accelerates. Neural pathways are reinforced. Without sleep, the body never fully adapts, it only survives. This is why people who do the same movement but ignore rest plateau quickly. Your body does not reward intensity, it rewards consistency paired with recovery. Emotionally, something else begins to change too. Daily squats create a quiet sense of capability. You feel grounded, stable, more present in your body. That confidence carries into other decisions. You move more, you sit less, you protect your health without obsessing over it. This is the real lifestyle shift. Not dramatic, not loud, but durable. And yet, even here, there is one more layer most people miss. One final adjustment that determines whether this habit truly protects your future or just maintains your present. Because the body adapts to patterns, and if the pattern never evolves, the signal eventually fades. The question is not whether 40 squats work. The question is how to keep them working without breaking your body or your motivation. That final piece is subtle, but once you understand it, everything clicks. And it leads to a realization that changes how you see not just squats, but movement itself. Movement itself. Because the final piece is not about adding more, it's about listening. Once your body adapts to 40 squats a day, it begins giving feedback, clear, honest feedback. Some days the movement feels smooth and strong. Other days it feels heavy, slightly stiff, less coordinated. Those signals are not weakness, they are intelligence. On strong days, your body is telling you it is well recovered, stress is lower, sleep was adequate, nutrition supported repair.
Those are the days when you move with confidence, not speed. When you feel how the hips open, how the feet press into the ground, how the core stabilizes naturally. On heavier days, your body is asking for respect. Not rest from movement, but gentler movement. Slower squats, fewer repetitions at once, more attention to breath. This is how longevity is built, not by forcing performance, but by maintaining the relationship between effort and recovery. This is the difference between exercise that ages you and movement that protects you. When people ignore this feedback, injuries appear, not suddenly, but gradually. A knee that feels tight, a back that feels compressed, a hip that clicks. These are whispers, not warnings to stop, but reminders to adjust. When people listen, something remarkable happens. 40 squats stop being a task. They become a daily check-in with your body. You notice posture improving. You sit differently. You stand differently. You move through space with more awareness. That awareness carries into everything else. Walking, lifting groceries, playing with children, getting up in the morning. This is how independence is preserved. Because strength is not about lifting heavy things in a gym. It's about controlling your own body through time. And this is the part few people truly understand. Lower body strength is one of the strongest predictors of how long you stay capable as you age. Not how long you live, but how well you live. How long you avoid assistance. How long you trust your body. 40 squats a day are not magic. They are a message. A message that says your legs are still needed, your balance still matters, your muscles are still part of your future. That message shapes how your body allocates resources, where it sends blood, which tissues it prioritizes, which systems it protects. Over months, not days, the results become undeniable. Energy stabilizes, joint discomfort often decreases, confidence returns quietly. The body feels more reliable. And perhaps most importantly, the fear of movement fades, because you are no longer avoiding your body, you are cooperating with it. This is why simple daily movement outperforms extreme routines. It builds trust, and trust is what allows consistency. Consistency is what creates lasting change. If there's one final truth to hold on to, it's this: your body is always adapting. The only question is what you are training it to expect. 40 squats a day train it to expect strength, balance, and engagement. And when the body expects those things, it prepares for them. If this helped you understand your body in a deeper way, if it gave you clarity instead of hype, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe so this knowledge reaches others who need it. Because the smallest daily habits often decide the biggest outcomes, and the body is always listening.